Lucky number 18, Madrid. Let's go.
We doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything a boss about. Not putting work and gotta toss them out. I'm really biting, they just barking out. I'm really riding, they just parking now. His street, what to talk about. See the big H when I'm walking out.
Yeah. This episode of Base Coverage presented to you by, of course, our partners over at Knoah Teamwear. I'm your host, Jamal Clay, and today, I'm bringing in somebody who has a little bit of knowledge about what's going on down in Spain, as we bring in lucky team number 18 to the party, and that is the Madrid. The Madrid football team, currently constituted as they are now. We joined the ELF in 2024. And what better way to talk about it than to bring in Daniel Docal, former international scout, current defensive coordinator for Daniel Dragons, coached at the Division I level in the States. This guy has a lot of knowledge, and he's going to be able to share some with us today. So, as always, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. Don't forget to like this video as we head into, week one, as we are under 2 weeks now heading into the season. So it's going to be an exciting time. So I'm going to bring on Daniel Docal right around the corner. Here's a quick word from our partners over at Knoah Teamwear. All right, so welcome back, everyone. Again, we are talking about lucky team number 18, the Madrid football team joining the ELF in 2024. And I want to bring in somebody that could provide, some fair knowledge, to the show. Someone who has a great understanding of football down there. International scout, current D coordinator for Daniel Dragons, has coaching experience at the Division I level in the States. So if there's anybody that is going to be able to shed light on the situation and talk to us a little bit about it, is this guy right here. So I welcome everybody, Daniel Docal, to the show. So Daniel, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Appreciate it. Doing well. Pretty excited with the news.
Yeah, man. It's crazy that a lot of people were speculating, and it was reported earlier that day from Tim Villamenka that there was going to be one team announced. So off the bat, for me, I was like, all right, well, that eliminated any team up north, because if they were going to go that way, you would think that they would announce more than one team, especially if you wanted to create some type of conference up there. Yeah. So I started thinking, all right, maybe London, maybe Madrid. I mean, not Madrid, maybe Amsterdam. With, the hype around London, the NFL Europe ties with Amsterdam, and then out of nowhere, here comes this team, Madrid, the football team, coming into the mix. Now, I would say I was made aware that this could possibly happen last year. That they would eventually join the ELF. I know it'll be this soon, but little do we know, team number 18 in the ELF, as we head towards 24, is the Madrid football team. So, just real quick, thoughts, what went through your mind when you first heard the news? Good, bad? Like, just let us know how you feel about it, man.
I was excited. I feel like everybody's really excited in Madrid. I think outside Madrid, there's not that much excitement. People didn't really want another team in Spain. They wanted, like you said, the league to go up north or probably in some other direction. I know people don't really trust the Spanish talent like that to be able to support two teams. But I'm excited. I think everybody in the city is excited, and that's what matters, because those are the people that are going to be working on it and trying to make it work.
Most definitely, third largest city in Europe. Definitely from a financial standpoint, they shouldn't have any troubles there. From a revenue sharing standpoint, the league and, all the teams are definitely going to benefit from it. What can you tell us about the talent specifically in Madrid?
I mean, I think there's plenty of talent right now. Like back in the day, Catalonia used to be the strongest football part of the country. You used to have the Drags, the Pioneers, some other teams out there that used to be some of the best in the country. But now for the last, I would say 5-6 years or so, most of the talent is in the capital. To be honest, you have four teams in the first league playing in Madrid, which is really, really good. Back in just a few years ago, we only had one. If you go back, I think, to 2016 or 2015, something like that, you have one, or maybe not even that, during the 14th season, because there was some problem with the league. They kicked out everything from Madrid. So for a while, Madrid was pretty irrelevant for national football. But for the last 5 years or so, it's been the strongest part. This year, you had two teams in the championship, both from Madrid. They're longtime rivals, but they're actually not that far away. They're 30-minute drive, 40-minute drive from each other. and they're both like strong teams with like really good, not really good, but like with strong, solid like youth foundation as well. So I think there's plenty of players, there's plenty of talent to go around. Obviously, like the most important part, not the most important part, but one of the most important parts is going to be like try to like bring back all the stars from Madrid, like Fernandez, Gimby, like some of these guys that are like around. Some of the veterans too, like for example, like Jimenez. I think he's not playing this year. I'm not sure. Flores is with me here in Austria, so you're able to bring all the guys back together. And you're getting the young guys from Black Demons. You're getting the young guys from Osos, and you like if this whole city comes together, I think it could be a pretty solid team.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you just mentioned some guys off the bat, right? Mario Flores, Alejandro Fernandez, and when the
Yeah,
Barcelona team was announced in year one, I wouldn't say necessarily people were hating, but there wasn't really that support that the Madrid team is getting. You've seen like all the locals and all the local media just supporting this,
yeah,
and I think that could be a benefit for what the ELF has done and proven, and has shown that like this is the league, in Europe, right? Um,
yeah.
Now immediately, you think, all right, another team in Spain, right? Obviously, with Barcelona, most of the talent went down there, and now something that's got to be split up. Do you
Yeah.
think this move, from a competitive balance standpoint, do you think this move saturates the talent in Spain? Because you have Germany that has 6 teams, but Germany is so deep with talent and it's so big that they can afford that. But Spain, obviously, you have Barcelona, and now we're bringing Madrid into the mix. Do you think that saturates the pool of talent in the country?
I mean, obviously it does a little bit, but if you actually look at the roster, the Dragons have a really different roster this year from last year. If you look at it, they're like, I don't know exactly the numbers, but it's probably like 10 to 20 guys that are not coming back, something like that. And they're still gonna have a good competitive team, you know what I mean? So if you take all those guys that are not going back to the Dragons, most of them are actually not from Barcelona or the Catalonia area. So you take all those guys that are actually not even from that area, and you bring them to Madrid, and you get some of the best players from Osos, from Black Demons, from Camioneros, from Cavaliers, which are the four first league teams in Madrid.
Yeah.
If you put that together and you get a good group of coaches, good group of imports, you can have a perfectly competitive team, I think.
Speaking of Barcelona, um, if the Madrid football team that's being built, right? Obviously, they could learn a lot from what Barcelona has done, good or bad, from year one all the
Yeah.
way to now. Obviously, year one, we saw the disappointing season that they had. Year two, a whole lot of success, and then year three yet to be determined. What do you think? What do you think Madrid should take away from what they've seen Barcelona, or how Barcelona has operated? Particularly just football based,
I mean,
that they could learn,
yeah.
heading into year four.
Obviously, when you're the first one doing something, it's a lot harder. So
Yeah,
obviously, a
most
lot of
definitely.
credit for the Dragons for making that happen. That was really impressive. Nobody thought they could actually do it, and they did. And they don't not only did it, but they were actually competitive. They beat most of the German teams. They went to the playoffs. Like they did a great job. So now, if you start a new team in Spain, like you kind of have like the blueprint of what what they did right and what they did wrong. So that's also obviously really really helpful. I feel like one of the I mean, I don't know exactly because I don't really know about numbers and all that. But I think one of the problems that Barcelona had is that they were not really in Barcelona. They were kind of like in the middle of like I don't know how to say, but like in between places. So it was hard to like bring all the potential fans that you could have from Barcelona.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it was hard to like house everybody because basically nobody's really living in that area. Yeah, so like you have to house everybody that you're bringing in. So if you're able to play and practice somewhere around downtown Madrid. It doesn't have to be downtown, but like somewhere in the metropolitan area.
Yeah.
And you're able to play there and you're able to practice there. So guys can live in their own houses. They can live with their families, their girlfriends, whatever. You know what I mean? And they just have to like take the metro to go to practice and go to the
Yeah.
games. You're saving a lot of money and you're also a lot closer to a lot of potential fans. So I feel like that would already be like a really big step compared to what Barcelona had to deal with. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. And we're going to see how, instead of being 2 hours away from the city of Barcelona, they're about a half
Yeah,
hour now. So I'm,
exactly. Yeah,
I'm
that's
excited
gonna
for that.
good
Yeah,
too to see how they respond to that. Yeah.
exactly. I'm excited for that week one matchup when they play the guards. It's in prime time too. So, they already
Yeah.
have an exciting fan base. Now the fan base doesn't have to travel, 2 hours,
Exactly.
out the way.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I see is that Barcelona had a difficult time like working together with the local clubs.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's not going to be a problem in Madrid. From what I'm hearing, it looks like people are really like coming together and like able to work together.
Yeah, it seems like they
If
really
they're
got
able to
the
do that,
support.
it's going to be really big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like they really got the support. Again, not just like, from a partner standpoint in terms of like business partners, but like the local teams. I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of local teams who are supportive of this, where
Yeah.
whenever something new or something changes happens, there's always some type of setback. It's like, whoa, like hold on a little bit. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of teams supporting this Madrid team. And that's what makes it exciting too.
Sure.
In terms of
100%.
them coming into the league next year. Now we talked a little about Barcelona, their fan base. Obviously, they're a lot closer to the city this year, and they have one of the most fun fan bases to watch in the ELF. Now the ELF has its own form of El Clasico heading into 2024. So how do you think that's going to be embraced by both fan bases? The Madrid side and obviously the Barcelona side.
I don't know, but I feel like it's going to be pretty heated, which I think is good. I think that will be really exciting. I think it's also going to be good for like the media coverage. I feel like everybody loves rivalry in Spain. I mean, it could be a good thing or a bad thing, but it's actually like a really strong cultural rivalry between the two cities. It goes way farther than football, soccer, whatever, any sport. So it's a big rivalry anyway. So it's easier to make it a story. It's easy to make it popular. You know what I mean? It's easy to go on the media and all that stuff. So I feel like people are going to be really attracted to that. I think stadiums are going to be packed when that game's happening. I think it can be a pretty big deal in Spain, for the local community, which would be really cool.
Yeah, and that's going to be great for Spain in general, and in terms of its
Yeah,
its reputation with the ELF. We look at some of the rivalries now. Obviously, we have Hamburg Rostov, which is a rivalry. We have the Rhine Fire and the Frankfurt Galaxy, which is a pretty big rivalry. We're gonna have this is kind of like something new, potentially could be based on their history, but the Prague Lions and the Forever and Throners, especially
yeah,
their last game in the CEFL Championship last year, and now we're bringing in one of the most historic rivalries outside of American football to American football. So, even if no one knows anything about it, it's still Madrid versus Barcelona at the end of the day, which I think the ELF, I think it's a genius move to bring that type of rivalry to the league. And, not that they will do it for another team, but even like for Barcelona, who flies to every away game.
yeah,
Now it's only a 6-hour drive, and obviously that helps financially and stuff like that too. Um,
yeah,
when the reputation of Barcelona in the ELF right now is very like up and down, right? When you look at all the preseason polls or what people think about Barcelona, they're always on the lower tier or the bottom half whenever the standings come out. All right. I don't know. I don't know how Madrid's going to be different, but what makes you think that Madrid could potentially, be any different from having a reputable football standpoint within ELF media, so to say? Like, are we still going to be
I
looking
mean,
at this Madrid team that we have no clue who they are, what they are about, and we won't know until week 1 of 2024? But just the reputation of Spanish football in general, do you think they'll 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 take on the hit that Barcelona is usually taking when it comes to like preseason reputations or reputation in general?
yeah, I mean, 100%. Obviously, people don't really look up to Spanish football in Europe. It's normal, it's natural. So when the thing comes together and we start looking at the power rankings and all the stuff for 2024, I expect Madrid to be on the bottom tier. That's normal. I think that's natural. I don't think it's necessarily fair that Barcelona is that low right now, considering they were a playoff team last year. They were one of the top four, top three teams in the league. And I know they lost a lot of players, but to me, that would make you like let's say a medium, middle of the pack tier. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen them like dead last on some of the rankings, which I think is crazy. At the end of the day, they made the playoffs last year. They beat almost everybody. Uh, so they should be. I think they should be way higher.
Yeah.
Probably not in the top, but still like somewhere middle of the pack. And that's exactly what, because of what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like we don't have that reputation yet. Last year it started to change when you had a Spanish team beating Hamburg in Hamburg, which is
Yeah.
crazy. You know what I mean? You had a Spanish team going toe to toe with the Vikings, which you have been crazy 5-10 years ago. So it's starting to change. It's going to be slow, but in the next few years, it could be that we're finally able to change that narrative. But at the beginning, for the first two seasons or so, I expect it to be pretty
Yeah.
similar.
And it's crazy because like the first season, ELF started during the COVID year. No one really had an off season or didn't know what to prepare for. Second season, new coach, one or two new imports, and then they blow up in terms of the type of season they had. Third season, they lose some of those guys, but I guess people are forgetting that a lot of those homegrown guys are still there. Like a lot of the
Yeah.
core guys are still there. So I agree with you in that aspect of it. I don't think they're a dead last team or bottom tier team as
Yeah.
people are rating them. I get it; they lost a lot, but at the same time, I think they still got enough talent where at least they could be middle of the pack. Maybe better. I don't know. They still have to prove that. Obviously, they just parted ways with their American import receiver Austin Duke, who I know was building a relationship with Connor Miller and training together in all season. They're bringing in a Josh Johnson, I believe his name is. I don't know too much about him, but I know that was recently just reported. So they got some time they got less than 2 weeks to try to figure that thing out. But like I said, I think, the fact that we have two teams in Spain says enough to me that like, hey, like, the country and, the competitiveness down there should be getting more respect than what is given.
Absolutely.
Before we close this thing out, all right, and again, congrats on number 18 Madrid Football Team joining the ELF, right? At the end of that kickoff press conference, Tim Huntsville, an ELF insider reporter, reported that before the end of the year or heading into 2024, there's going to be two more teams announced, at least two more teams announced. So my question to you is not who you think those teams would be. Who would you like those two teams to be?
Oh man, I don't know. One that I could really, really like, and I don't think people talk about it really often, but I think they could make it happen is Florence. I think Florence would be a
Okay.
great spot. I think having a second team in Italy would be cool. I don't think Milano really got a lot of guys from like outside their own team.
Yeah.
They were already a really strong team, so they should be fine. But
You
I
think
think
there's
there's
still some
space.
good talent out there that
Yeah,
Milano could tap
absolutely.
into? Yeah.
Yeah, and also like I think the Italian Federation does a great job. Altogether, the national team is really strong. They work together really well. It's one of the few countries that are actually like working together with the federation and with the clubs and
Yeah.
all that. So I think another team in Italy would be nice. I think if that were to happen, Florence would probably be the best spot.
Okay.
Also, really cool city for anybody. Like it would be really attractive thing to like go play there or go watch a game or whatever. And then obviously London,
And then,
it's crazy that they haven't been able to put it together. I know there's a lot of like hurdles because they don't have like historically they have never had a competitive football team. You know what I mean? Since since NFL Europe. So in terms of like European football, they've never had imports. They never had American coaches. They're just never had the infrastructure before where they had like an I don't know what to say like a semi-pro competitive team like we had in Germany, Austria, Finland, all these other countries. But at the same time, like they have 3-4 NFL games every year with like 60,000-70,000 people watching. Like it's hard for me to not picture like at least 5,000-6,000 people showing up to the stadium in London. I think that's pretty realistic. So if they're able to put together the infrastructure, they definitely have the talent. There's no other team in the country. They should be fine. But also like London is a big city, really expensive. Like there's probably a lot of stuff to figure out. But I would like London and I would like Florence. Probably those are the two places that I would like to see.
Florence is real cool because you don't really hear a lot of people talking about it. And then London obviously has been a big topic, but even bigger over the past couple of weeks. And I think when it's all said and done, when we get to 24, we will have a London team. And I think it's getting to a point where Patrick Azume is either going to try to get one of those federations or organizations to come together, sell the ELF and build one, or I just think he's going to build one himself. I'm sure this guy has a lot of connections based on the partnerships that they are bringing in. I mean, they've already partnered with like 4 different partnerships that are partnered with the NFL alone, right? So this league is not going anywhere. This league has the backing of a lot of big corporations. This league is looking towards the future, obviously, with sports betting, fantasy football, all that stuff. Why wouldn't London be attracted to that? And obviously, the NFL's no one ever is competing with the NFL. Not anyone in Europe, not any spring league in the EFL. Yeah. But NFL is creating an appetite for football in London. So I think when it's all said and done, we're gonna get 2 more teams before the end of the year. That leaves 4 spots open. 6 spots total right now, but there's gonna be 4 spots open if Florence or London is not one of those teams. I think when it's all said and done, I think they'll tap into Amsterdam. I think they'll tap into up north, but I think London will be one of the 24. And if it's not one of the 24, then I don't know what to say. But there's gonna be a lot of good football, regardless if they make it or not. But I think at the end of the day, they will be.
For sure.
Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on, man. How's
Of course, man. Happy to.
Yeah, most definitely. Good luck, Coach DC of the Daniel Dragons. Continue to have a good season, my man. And we're looking forward to week 1 as we're under 2 weeks away now. A lot of good games coming up. So this won't be the last time we chop it up, brother, all right?
For sure.
Hard work, they don't know about it. Hard work, they don't know about it. Hard work, they don't know about it. Animal.